Alright, welcome back everyone. This is War Elephant. We're coming with second round of 4-player chess on this channel. And the first video has already got a good number of views, so thanks everyone for checking that out. And it's encouraging me to make a few more. I guess this video I do want to talk about some of the things I've learned. I've been playing a little bit while not making videos, and one of the main things I want to talk about is the clockwise play in the game, which was something that I didn't really consider when I first started. Basically, if someone is to your left, you want to avoid fighting with them, and if someone is to your right, that's a good person to fight with. Someone opposite you, it's sort of just neutral. And the reason for that is because if someone is to your left, anytime you get in a fight with them, perhaps they will have at some point the opportunity to take a piece. And now if blue were to take a piece of reds here, and yellow were to see that blue just took a piece of reds, and he also had a way to take a piece of reds, and green also had a way to take a piece of reds, then the opportunism could extend for a much longer time across the turns until it gets back to you. So, for example, if blue were to trade bishops, yellow were to trade pawns, and green were to trade pawns, you can only choose to take back for one of those three players. Now, if I'm fighting with green, then green could take my piece, but blue and yellow would not be able to get in any opportunism before I would have a chance to take back. So green would trade a piece, I would take back, and then if blue wants to trade a piece, he can do that, but then the other two players wouldn't necessarily have time to do something before I would just take it back. Also, I would try to make it so that blue could not trade pieces with me. That's the whole point of not trying to fight with him. So there is some natural progression of imbalance when it comes to picking who to fight with, just because of the clockwise play in the game. So then it sort of matters, because sometimes I think two players spawn as black in the game and two players spawn as white. And what I mean by that is if you're black, I'm basically just saying your king is on the left side, so where my queen would be here. If you're white, then your king is spawning where my king is standing right now. Okay, so I've spawned as white, basically. And I'm also starting to get a little bit better of a grasp of the openings in the game, and some ways that I can keep my king safe. And I'm not sure what blue is doing moving his queen like that. That's sort of a rare thing to see. And what it makes you want to do is, after bringing this knight out, play something like d4. Oh, okay, and I have to deal with my rook first. Okay, as you can see, green's attacking my rook with the bishop. Okay, so let's take care of that. What I want to do is play like d4, and then I'll gain a tempo on blue's queen here. Okay, so he blocked it anyway before I even got a chance. But I think I'm still going to play d4. And right now I'm just looking, I want my pieces to be on the right squares. So there's not really any reason for me to fianchetto this bishop yet, because it would just be attacking these two pawns, which doesn't help me just yet. I'm going to play a4. And so it's better just to leave it on this square for now. And again, I don't want to fight with green because, like, for example, if I let green take this knight with check, then blue can just take the pawn. So I want to make sure that I am not giving a player any opportunity to, especially a player to the left of me, to check me in one move. And this gets especially true as your rating gets higher and higher because people might try to gang you because they know if they take you out, then everyone gets a lot of rating points. All right, now I will actually fianchetto the bishop because blue played this move. And by playing that move, he's saying, I'm never letting your bishop in. So now that I know my bishop will never be taking this pawn, due to him mistakenly moving the bishop out, now fianchetto. I can prepare to castle as well. I do have a little bit of a problem with my light square complex on the queen side. So I'm thinking about playing A5 to remedy that a bit. Okay, green's going for some promotion stuff. Let's see what are blue and red are just moving their pawns and knights around. Okay. I could consider dropping back with this bishop and try to attack green, but then he can sort of check me at any time. So I'm thinking about castling before I do that. Well, let's actually just play A5 because I wanted to do that anyway. And now that his bishop's off, his bishop won't be able to give a check, then I can move back and take the pawn. Okay, so now green's going to have to see what he prefers. Does he prefer to promote or prefer to guard this pawn? What was just taken there? He took a knight with a queen? What? Okay, actually, I'm just going to play pawn up, I think. I realized that if I move bishop back, he can just play this pawn move, attack my pawn, and guard his own pawn. So it's like not really as good as I hoped. Okay. I've definitely, now that I look at my time, I feel like I think I'm normally very good at time management, but something about streaming or recording a video while I'm doing it is slowing me down a bit. So I'm going to try and speed up on the moves. So lots going on over there. I'm just going to try and promote while it's going on, whatever it is. I also have to be very careful about points this game. Everyone else is trading a lot, and I'm not trading at all. So, I mean, I can pick up one pawn of greens here, which is nice. Or if blue doesn't move his rook, I'll pick that up. Oh no, I can pick up a rook of greens. What am I talking about? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Okay, that'll be a solid 5 points to get me in the game. And I feel that I am doing okay if I have a couple points and I have, oh, darn, that's, yeah. Well, okay, what I could do is just take this pawn and then green will get the rook of blue. I mean, blue should not have done that. He was thinking I would take it no matter what, but he just lost his own piece, so. That's an example of where being opportunistic was not rewarded. Oh well, so red's getting very strongly attacked. Yeah, I need to make sure that green doesn't get this rook too. And that would be pretty bad. And my next tip that I wanted to talk about was when you see a player starting to get low on pieces or low on time, there's a good chance they're either going to run out of time or resign out of the game. So you want to keep something nearby to be able to, at the very least, stop others from taking their king. If not, you'll just get it, you know. So that's sort of my goal right now, to have something always nearby red until the end of the game, or until red taps out. Okay, green just made a little mistake, or a big mistake. He's going to lose his queen. Unless blue can somehow defend it, but no, I don't think so. One recent balance change that came out 2 days ago was kings are now worth 20. So I think the main thing that does is make it so that the other interactions you have are less important. So it's actually better to turtle early on now and just make sure you can swoop in for the king near the end of the fighting, which is interesting. I think I'm going to let red promote here because I'm not worried about him taking the game, and I'd like him to stay in the game and do some things before he dies. I'm not sure why blue did that, pushing his pawn and just losing everything back there. Doesn't make much sense. And also opened blue up to attack himself, so maybe I can checkmate him if he's not careful. I think I'll bring the queen back here, attack green and attack blue at the same time. My bishop plus my queen together could checkmate. I could also take this pawn. Would that be better? Well, I guess let's threaten checkmate first. He can't defend the pawn and defend the checkmate. Okay, he defended the pawn anyway. So there's actually 3 attacks here: attacking green's pawn, attacking blue's checkmate, and then also attacking this knight with queen and bishop battery. So let's see whether or not blue defends. Nope. All right, that puts us in the lead. And we're doing okay on time now. And this pawn is still hanging for green. Though that might be a little bit too greedy, because if I take the pawn, he could move the rook out, and then yellow could do some opportunistic things to me. Again, it's even when there's 3 players, you still don't want to attack the player directly to your left. Usually, anyway. I will attack the player to my right, which is now red. So I'll see if he wants a rook trade. And you might say, what if green moves in the knight and then red trades rooks and then green gets some opportunism. Oh, okay. Hold on, I gotta see what's. Yeah, but then the problem is red could just move his rook away, and I would take the green thing, and that's what happens a lot of the time. You just go another check. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, green still can't checkmate. So. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna check green. And so if he doesn't block with the queen, then he has to lose his queen. Yeah, he loses his queen. So that was some dirty opportunism by me, I would say. Very dirty tricks. I'm not really rushing to kill red either, because red's like done. There's nothing he can do. All right. I wonder if I can get a double check this game. Their kings are starting to get close to one another. Double checks are actually worth 5 points, even though you're not taking any material. Triple checks are worth 15, I think. I've never seen that done, though, so. Triple check will have to wait until the highlight reel comes out. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't need a double check to win, but it would be fun to get one off anyway. Let me do this. I wonder what happens if there's a stalemate. Never seen a stalemate in this game, but I suppose it theoretically could happen, right? This would be checkmate, though. Alright. And again, these players were not super highly rated. My rating is getting close to 1500. It was above 1500 before. In fact, like I think my high was 1570, but at that point, what happens is if you don't get first every game, like say you get first in a game, you'd get like 10 points, given that your opponents are around like 12 or 1300 each. And if you get second, you'd lose points, at least 20. And if you get last, you would lose like 80 points. So it's really hard to grind up to that high, and you basically have to get first every game once you're getting to 1500 and above to continue moving forward. And I'll play one more for now. There are some other openings I wanted to try out, but I haven't really had an opportunity to yet. I want to try something with like when my king is on, when I'm basically playing black, I wanted to try something with not castling queenside, but something similar, sort of running my king toward the queen side. Because if you say you're black and you castle king side, then you're basically, your king is next to the player to your left, and so if he tries to checkmate you, or anyone tries to checkmate you, I mean that player will always be able to start some opportunism against you, and then it snowballs when the other two players follow suit. So you want to put your king to the right of the board if you can, no matter where you start. Now there's some games that it won't matter where you put your king because there's just too much other stuff going on. People don't have time to attack you, something like that. But the safest place is, I think, from what I know right now, I could be wrong, you usually want to put your king on the right of the board. So the worst possible rolls you can get in this game, the worst possible RNG, would be spawning as black, which means your king spawns on your own D1, or D8 rather, and then you also go last. So it's a 1 in 2 times a 1 in 4. You have a 1 in 8 chance of doing that. So it happens fairly often. Okay, and I think that game I don't know, I definitely spawned in the right location with my king, but I don't know which number I was. I wasn't fourth, but I wasn't first either, I believe. So yeah, if there's any questions about what I'm doing or suggestions for how I could do better in the games, let me know in the comments. I think my last game, someone pointed out a move that would have been better, and I would just ask them to put the timestamp because it was a 40-minute video, so I don't know really when you're talking about unless you add the timestamp from when you're watching that specific move, and then I'll reply. And I'm sure there's things I could be doing better. We're playing 4-minute chess. Each player has 4 minutes, and there's a 3-second increment. So yeah, if you see anything, let me know, and I will try to incorporate those ideas later. All right, well, maybe I should end the video now and put another one up separately, so then you guys don't have to sit through a video of me doing nothing. So I'll end it here and I'll put it up as a separate one when I get a game.